Part 3, questions 11 through 15. Number 11, non-serializable object. Here, let's look at the serializable concept. We have learned this concept in class, and we spend a lot of time on this concept. Error rate 28%. If you set a non-serializable object as a session attribute, you cannot use it without any problem. The answer B, false. First, let's look at the one intrigue statement, cannot use it without any problem. Double negations here. So let's interpret the sentence. So that means whenever you use it, you have a problem. Okay? So no exception. So anytime you use it, non-serializable object as a session attribute, you will have a problem. So let's look at if the statement is correct or not. Let's consider two cases. First one, distributive system. Second one, single machine systems. Okay. So for the first case, you will have some problems. Yeah. Distributive. Yeah. If non-serializable, if you send those session attributes, so in different JVMs, yeah, then you will have problems. But for single machine system, no problem. Okay? You'll stay in the same machine. Okay? Even your session attribute contains non-serializable object, but it is in the same machine. Okay? You do not need to send it through network and send to a different JVM, so you won't have any problem. So due to the second case, the answer is B. And in our original statement, we say any, right? So any Java web application, that means the second case is possible. Okay? Because we don't say distributive system. Okay? So it could be a single machine system. All right. Number 12. Implement serializable interface. 68%. It's a pretty high percentage. Missed this question. So let's look at why. Answer is false. So here we notice this only the attribute values that implement serializable explicitly. Yeah. So here we emphasize explicitly, not implicitly. Okay. Only. So it must be explicitly. Yeah. So let's look at the problem. Let's compare two different ways implement this serializable interface. Explicitly and implicitly. Explicitly, it is okay, so no problem. So if you explicitly, so then you transfer session from one JVM to another, you have no problem, no distortion. All right. So the problem occurs in the second case, implicitly. For the second case, there are two sub-cases we need to discuss. The first one, no violation. That means although we do not implement the serializable interface explicitly, but in our implementation, we do not have any non-serializable object in our Java class. So that means no violation. No violation on the serializable requirements. So in that case, it is okay. But the second subcase, violation. Okay? Yeah. We may have some violation of the serializable requirements. That means we may have some non-serializable object in our Java class. Then it is not okay. Okay? All right. So the first subcase, no problem. Second one, you have problem. Okay? So now back to the original question, because in our statement we have that only explicitly. So that's not true, because in explicitly the first subcase can also satisfy the requirement. Okay. So that's why B is correct. Number 13, interface with methods. So this one, high percentage missed this one, 72%. Yeah. So why it is so high? Yeah. I think the 4 options I give you, some of you may not familiar with all the options, yeah. But we have learned at least 3 of the 4 options. And I talked about the concept tag interface in class. Okay? So here, this question relates to the tag interface concept. So what's that? So a special Java interface that does not contain any method. So that kind of method we call tag interface. Right? And we also know serializable is a tag interface. No method specified in the serializable interface. It is just a tag. You attach it to a Java class to make it serializable. So that's a tag interface. All right. So definitely, so this one does not have any method. So we exclude this option. All right. Then let's look at option D. Yeah. Because option B, so we may not be quite familiar with single thread model, so we delay that option. We look at option D first. HTTP servlet. We know any servlet extends this class. So it is a class. Okay? So it is not an interface. So that's not in the consideration of this question. So we exclude it. All right. Option C, request dispatcher. We discussed this interface. This is the interface in class. Okay. So I remember I told you because this is not a class, so in order to create request dispatcher object, you cannot use constructor because there is no constructor for an interface. So the way you create a request dispatcher object is here. You use request.get request dispatcher method. Okay, yeah. So we know it is an interface, but does it contain any method? Yes, we know it. We use the forward method of this interface. Okay, so we use forward method. So that it has at least one method. Actually, it has 2 methods, forward and include. But here we got enough information to say that C is the correct answer. Okay, so we don't need to look at option B. Okay. Question number 14. The title is wrong. Yeah. But here we know the order of 3 methods call when we prepare response object. Okay. All right. 40% missed this one. Answer is true. You cannot change the order. Okay. Yeah. If you create a writer first, before you set content type and the character encoding, you do not have chance to set content type and encoding later after you create a writer. Okay? So that's why you have to set content type, character encoding first before you call getWriter method. Okay. All right. Last question of this part. Implement serializable interface. So here you can see we have 3 questions related to serializable interface. 64% missed this one. A very high percentage. Answer is A, true. Why it is true? Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah. The reason we implement serializable interface explicitly, sometimes we need to do it because we want IDE to help us check if our Java class is serializable or not. Okay, so we rely on the IDE to do this checking job. Why? Because we are not familiar with the requirements for the serializable interface. Okay? So we cannot memorize all the requirements. So it is very hard. So we don't want to check the class by ourselves. Okay? So the convenient way is asking the IDE to do it. So how do you ask IDE to do this checking for you? So you implement the serializable interface explicitly. All right, so we finish part 3.